Hi class, this is a little bit of extra material to help you make progress with minor key harmony. Quick review, we have learned that in minor key, even though the most basic scale is natural minor and Aeolian, we often vary it by borrowing notes from other scales like harmonic minor, where we can borrow a major 7, or melodic minor, where we can borrow both a major 6 and a major 7, and Dorian, where we can find just a major 6. So with those all combined, we get a variation of scale degrees 6 and 7. And then we have our various minor key functions. We have our tonic minor function, which requires that we have the note flat 3 as a low chord tone. So that gives us 1 minor 7, flat 3, major 7. And all the variations of that, 1 minor major 7, flat 3 augmented major 7, 1 minor 6. These are all forms of 1 minor and flat 3, and they're all tonic minor. Then we have our subdominant minor function, which is flat 6. As any chord tone at all, anywhere in the chord, we'll turn that chord into a flat 6, into a subdominant minor chord. And we can see that there's a lot of them in natural minor, and there's some in harmonic minor too. But of course, they only exist in scales where there is a flat 6 in the scale. The next kind is modal subdominant. That's when you have a major 6 in a minor key context. So that would be chords that occur in melodic minor, certain chords, and chords that occur in Dorian, because those scales have a major 6 in them. And last but not least, the sort of catch-all category for those that don't fit in the other categories, which is modal cadence. These are important chords in minor. They can provide a interesting cadential sound. They both include the note te, not t. They don't have a leading tone. So they don't fit into any of these categories here, but they still are important. So we just call them modal cadence chords. That's 5 minor, any form of 5 minor, and flat 7 triad. You'll note that flat 7 is subdominant minor because it has the flat 6 there as the top note. Okay, that's a quick review of our minor key functions. Now, and we also have in a minor key, we have secondary dominants. And I gave you this very important document, the minor key summary. And I want you to keep that handy because it's got a lot of important information in it. There you are. There it is, talking about the tonic minor chords. The available tensions come from the surrounding scale. So if it's from Aeolian, the tensions come from there. If it's from Dorian, the tensions come from there. And you can see these are the basic available tensions for that chord. Subdominant minor, the same thing. You're drawing the tensions from the source scale, which will virtually always be Aeolian. And then this is a little graph that shows that we often will experience songs that are almost entirely natural minor, but they also include the 5/7 chord that we get from harmonic minor. So when you have music that's like this, and also the 7 diminished, which is essentially the same notes as 5/7, only one note difference, and it kind of creates like an upper structure of a 5/7 flat 9 sound. That's what this chord does. So that's a dominant function chord. Both of those are from harmonic minor. So basically, a natural minor song with imported dominant sounds from harmonic minor creates this thing called expanded Aeolian. There's many songs that are in that category. Then we also learned that we have secondary dominants in minor keys, and they are targeting the same pitches, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but of course in minor, 3 is flat 3 and 6 is flat 6. These are our tensions. We talked about how you can make a correlation that if we're talking again about targets in natural minor, this target is minor, it's a 4 minor chord, and we use minor tensions on the secondary dominant. 5 minor is what we get in natural minor, and we use minor tensions on that secondary dominant, 5, 7, and 5. 2 is a minor chord with a minor third, and so we use minor tensions on that secondary dominant. So heading to minor, use minor tensions. Flat 6 is a major chord, use major tensions. Now this is the only exception of all that general generalization I'm making. A flat 3 is a major chord, but in order to create a secondary dominant sound, we need to use a flat 9 on this chord. Now, that's because this chord actually has a diatonic identity as flat 7-7. In other words, 5-7 and flat 3 and flat 7-7 are exactly the same chord, but the way to make that chord function as more than just a diatonic chord, you need to add a flat 9 to it. So there's your available tensions on minor key secondary dominants. This is something we have yet to learn about. Line cliche, we'll learn about that next class. But there is one more thing I want to mention, which relates to the assignment that is attached here, which is the fact that there are related 2 chords in minor, just the way there are related 2 chords in major. And so you have this assignment where you're being asked to identify chords, and the chords will be of various types. You can see here's a 1 minor 6. Some other time, you might have a 1 minor 7 or a 1 minor major 7 or some other form of 1 chord, or maybe just a triad. Then you're going to have some kind of 2 chord. It might be minor 7 from Dorian, or it might be minor 7 flat 5 from Aeolian, or whatever. And then you're going to have some kind of 5 chord, and it's probably going to be a secondary dominant. It might be a primary dominant. And then you've got a target. So you need, and this is like a little 2-bar phrase in a key. So this is just to reinforce, to just explain to you how to do the assignment. First of all, check your key. Think about what minor key signature that is. Figure out your first chord. That will, in all cases, will be a 1 chord. You can see it's labeled anyway. Some kind of 1 chord. Then you simply continue the voice leading. You continue your analysis, putting in any brackets or arrows that are required. And don't forget, you are repeating, so that means that G7 is going back to the C. So that's where we're drawing the arrow. The G7 is going down a perfect fifth to the C minor. So we're drawing the arrow there. And then once you've completed your analysis, you carry on the voice leading that was started in the first chord. Now you can see here, this is 3-way close, right? So you got to keep doing 3-way close. Then in the process, you have to include whatever tensions are in the voicing. And so you have to apply the rules. So if you're doing a 3-way close, you have to substitute one of the notes for a tension. 9 for 1, 13 for 5, 11 for 5 if 11 is available. If it's 4-way close, the same thing. If you need a 9, you got to replace the root with the 9. If you need a 13, replace the 5th with the 13. If you need an 11, replace the 5th with an 11. You've done this kind of thing before, but now we're doing it in a minor key. That's all, the only difference. Okay, so it's fairly detailed work, but just work through these assignments. There's 8 examples. There is an answer key, so you can check, and it's very important that you do check and then make any corrections and write down any questions if you have any. If you're unsure why, the correct answer is there and you're not sure why it's correct as opposed to your answer. So again, we need this kind of practice so that we can think in multiple keys, we can figure out tensions, and so that we'll be able to use all this rich material to write good music and understand good music. All right, that's it. That's the orientation for this assignment, along with a little bit of review. Don't forget your brackets when you discover a related 2 chord. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next class.